Hey guys, how's it going? Like Butter here, and today I'm bringing you a division video. I don't do like vendor weekly resets or anything like that, but when there's something that I feel is a must buy, I like to do videos where I kind of break down the gun and let you guys know why I think this is a good buy. So this week, and you have to do this before the end of Friday, I wanted to test out the classic AK47 that is available at the special equipment vendor down in the terminal. It is right here. It's for 1,248 Phoenix credits. It has a high enemy armor damage roll, which 23% ends up being the highest that this can possibly roll. It has a very high damage roll, and it has very good talents. Actually two of the exact talents that you want on this weapon. So the deadly is starting to kind of fall back into the meta now that body shotting is so much more beneficial than it is to aim for headshots currently, which is unfortunate. But basically what they did is, in order to lower the skill gap between very, very good players that can hit headshots and players that aim more for the body, they've kind of toned down the headshot multiplier that you get from things like brutal and just hitting headshots in general. So deadly is actually a much better pick these days than brutal is until they up that multiplier again. If you're very confident that you can hit consistent headshots, then by all means go for brutal. But this AK-47 is going to be very hard to hit consistent headshots with because it kicks like a goddamn mule. Any AK in any video game usually has a large amount of recoil because of the recoil that AK-47s have in real life. So this weapon here, in my opinion, is a must grab because for the last like 3 to 4 days I've been testing out the AK-47, and I honestly think it is a tier 1 weapon when it comes to DPS. So, you can go here, you can buy this if you want. I am going to tell you, though, there is one talent that you want to switch out, which is pretty obvious here, Sustained. Now, like I said, Deadly is very good, but why get Competent on an AK-47? Well, Competent is actually a must-have on an AK-47 because of the fact that it gives you a percentage of weapon damage, which is 10% in this case when you use a skill. And why are you going to get more value out of this with the AK than you are with something like an M4? Well, the reason is because it has a base percentage. It's going to give you 10% damage on top of whatever your base damage is. Since AKs have higher base damage, you're going to get more value, more raw damage out of something like Competent. So I did, buy an AK-47 here. It's a classic AK too. There's two other versions. There's a black market and there's also a military AK-47. Both of these, or all three of these versions, seem pretty good, but in this case it's a classic AK-47. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to strip down this, get rid of all of its mods, and just kind of show you it at its core, if it's going to let me do that. It's not letting me strip the weapon down. Usually it's X, but okay. Well, it seems like it's not letting me do that, so I'll just do it this way. Alright. Wow, that's kind of annoying to have to do that, but... What is going on here? Oh, is it because my inventory's full? That's what it is. Yep, my inventory's full. Okay, let me sell some stuff here. That's exactly the issue. I was wondering why it wasn't letting me strip my weapon. Let's get some of this stuff out of here. Okay, so now I should be able to remove this mod strip weapon. Okay, so it was actually on my end why I couldn't do that. So let's look at the gun down to its core. Now you're gonna ask what to roll Sustain for. 100% in my opinion, I would get responsive. So you have responsive, deadly, competent. The only requirements that you're gonna need that aren't firearms, which you're gonna want to build a lot of firearms with the AK-47 because of you want to increase the base damage as much as possible. Responsive is a very good pick here. You want to basically use the AK-47 up close and then use either a sniper rifle or some other long-range weapon as your secondary. I wouldn't run the AK47 with, you know, an SMG or something like that, because it would kind of offset each other. The AK47 can't really be used at long range. It's more of a medium to close range weapon. So I think responsive is the best talent to get in this situation. So we're going to go down to the shooting range, and I'm going to shoot the AK, show you guys the difference between the recoil when you have attachments and when you don't have attachments. So just the bare bones weapon, you're going to see without me fighting the recoil at all, it has a recoil pattern that goes up and to the right, and it can be a little hard to control at times. Now, I do actually have a black market AK-47 that I want to also take out of my stash quick. Most of the weapons that have different versions of each other, the only difference is very, very similar, like, you know, recoil patterns and stuff like that. So just to show you guys the difference here, this is the classic AK, goes up and to the right. Now let's put on the black market AK. So the black market AK doesn't go up and as far to the right, it just goes kind of straight up. So it's going to be a little bit easier to control this. That's because these two weapons have different stability. You know, for example, you know, the police M4 has poor horizontal stability, whereas like the lightweight M4 has poor vertical stability. Now, in my opinion, the best way to kind of go about this, unless you're playing on mouse and keyboard, you know, if you're using a controller, I think the easiest thing would just to be pull down, so you don't have to pull at an angle with the joystick. So I think that the black market AK essentially is going to be a better pick, but the classic AK is going to work for now. So for this video, we're just going to keep this. So you saw how it was more up and down, whereas the classic AK is going to go much further up and to the right. So let's see what this thing can do when it comes to damage. So for example, we're at 212 DPS. Now I'm running Barrett's chest piece, which is going to give me extra base damage as well when I pop a single skill. So the way you want to lead off this is one of two ways. Either you want to pulse or you want to use your booster shot. So for example, if we were to use our booster shot here, that would give us a damage boost, and it would also proc competent, which will put our DPS up quite a bit. Also, if you compare something like this, you know, with 35.9k damage, one thing that I do want to look into more that I haven't looked into yet is whether it's more beneficial to have flat assault rifle damage or if it's more beneficial to have enemy armor damage. Reason being is because higher rate of fire weapons are going to benefit more from flat assault rifle damage on gloves, because if you're getting base damage added, well, you're going to be shooting more times per second, which means that you're getting more value out of flat assault rifle damage. Whereas if this was a percentage of assault rifle damage, you would get more assault rifle damage to make up for the lack of RPM, which is much how like competent works, how you're getting like a little bit more value out of the raw bullet damage itself. So I still need to look into if it's more beneficial to have that 5%, or I think it's 5.5% enemy armor damage. Or just kidding, it's 7.5%. Why did I think it was so low? So I want to try to do the math and figure out, maybe one of you guys, you know, can do the math to figure out what would be more beneficial, having 7.5% enemy armor damage or having, you know, 1200 assault rifle damage. I guess we'll just have to wait and see what's going to do more damage, maybe in PvP or maybe in PvE. So that's something I want to look into for the future, but for this video, we just want to talk about the AK-47. So we're going to go here and we're going to show you the mods that I'm currently running on the AK. Now, these are subject to change. Now, essentially, I would like to get a 5.52 hollow sight. This one that I have isn't fantastic. So for the time being, I've been using a red dot sight that has headshot damage, crit chance, and critical hit damage. Now, the idea is to get my critical hit damage as high as possible, so when I do crit, I crit for huge amounts of damage. That way, if I'm hitting, you know, a couple of consistent shots with my AK, it's going to multiply my damage drastically. So for here, I'm using a loud vent break as well, and then we are using a small grip for the underbarrel too. And of course, you want to get a little bit of stability, because you can see that the AK lacks more in stability than it does with accuracy. So you want to get as much stability there as you possibly can. And for here, I was also using one of these extended mags that had crit damage and crit chance. And my sexy little skin. I have yet to find a skin that I like more than the Spectrum, just because I don't know, like the blue tip there looks so cool, and then like way it changes in colors, just love it. But you can see here the shooting pattern is going to be much more bearable. Now it still goes off into the right, but you notice there's not as much back and forth with the stability. So in this case, you know, if we're shooting at a medium range target, I can usually control most of it to hit a lot of the shots. Now you can see it's very hard, especially at this range, to hit headshots. But if you burst fire, you can actually finish somebody off quite easily if they're very low. And hitting these shots from this range are going to be very lethal. But like I said, this is why, you know, you wouldn't take brutal. You see how it's like you can control it, but it takes a lot of practice. But in the body, you can hit a lot of body shots just by simply, you know, moving your mouse against the direction of the recoil. So for example, now just to show you guys the recoil of the AK, now remember I said it goes up and to the right? So what you're going to want to do with your mouse is just kind of counteract that. It's much like in Counter-Strike where you have to kind of go against the recoil. Obviously it's not as drastic and it's not as complicated of a pattern, whereas I think the AK in CS goes like this, something like that. It goes like a 7. But in this case, the AK is just going to go up and to the right. So instead of pulling straight down, because if you see, if I'm just pulling down, it's moving to the right. You want to pull down and to the left. And that's going to allow you to control that recoil. Now this is going to be a lot harder on console. If you are a console player and you use a controller, I would highly suggest getting stability on your backpack if you want to use the AK. You're going to need a lot more stability than you are on PC if you know how to control the recoil, but you can get stability here as a major attribute if you feel it's necessary, or if you don't want to run like a high-end build, you can do two-piece striker to get that little bit of, you know, stability if you feel like that's necessary. I also want to try this with Predator's Mark. I'm going to see how good the AK is with Predator's Mark, because in theory, since you're doing more damage per bullet, those 10 bullets that you hit someone with are going to make them bleed for more. So this is something that I want to test in the future. On top of that, you're also going to be getting more value per bullet with the fact that, you know, the 8% that you get from, you know, Predator's Mark is going to, you know, boost your base damage more, just like the Skull MC gloves does, which is another reason why the classic AK benefits so much from this build. So I just wanted to do this video to show you guys why I think the classic AK is a must grab for this week. If you do happen to miss this vendor video and you miss the AK being at the special equipment vendor, don't worry about it. Just keep an eye out for good AK drops, especially, like I said, the black market AK that has much better recoil pattern. Also, the military AKM has a very subtle recoil pattern as well. So hopefully if I get a military AK in the future, which I was hoping to do this video before the PTS ended because I had a military AKM, I'll try my best to kind of show you guys the different recoil patterns and all that good stuff. But anyways, I'm gonna end this with a quick little grind that I was doing to try to get a better Bliss holster, because they did this very small nerf to Nimble in the 3rd week of the PTS that I'm pretty sure they're going to keep, which makes Nimble not that great. So I'm probably going to go back to the Bliss holster on my high-end build. So I'll just show you guys some gameplay here so you can see the AK in action. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed, be sure to drop the video a like, and I will talk to you guys in the next one. Take care, everybody!
The escort party's taking heavy fire from the roof. They can't move until you get up there and take down that gunner.
We're pinned down! There's no way we'll make it across alive unless someone can get up there and take out the big guns!
All yours, Agent. Alpha Escort, we have an agent on the roof. Has Candle made it to your position?
Affirmative. She and her staff just arrived. As soon as the hostiles on the roof are gone, we'll get her across safely.
Warning. Additional hostiles incoming. Warning. Additional hostiles incoming.
Got the medics safely across. Candle and all staff accounted for. No casualties.
We're off to a good start, agents. Wish I could have had your back out there, but I think we make a hell of a team anyway. When you get back to the base, we'll talk to Candle, and we'll see what she can do for us.
Go! We got your back.
We've got a lot of hostiles inside, agents. They're holding Dr. Candle and her staff. We need those personnel back to the base so we can get the medical wing functional. If you patch me into the security system, I might be able to find Candle's location. Patched in. Let's see what I can find. Can you see the CCTV feed? Looks like Candle and her staff are being forced to treat their wounded. That's the only reason they're still alive. It looks like they've got people upstairs, in a restaurant. There's a lot of these guys, but if you use cover, you should be able to pick them off without making yourself the target.
Stay right there.
Additional hostiles detected. Additional hostiles detected. Warning. Additional hostiles detected.
Do what you need to do.
Candle and her staff are still upstairs, stashed in the kitchen at Kobe's. Word is that they've really trashed the place. It would have broken my dad's heart to see it go to hell like this. We used to watch games there together. I think it's better my folks didn't live to see any of this. But then I think about all the people doing their best to keep going. That's who we do this for, Agent. Go get them. To get to Kobe's, you'll have to pass by some contaminated areas. There used to be plenty of sick people being treated there before they got shot. So be careful.
Keep your heads down and keep it quiet.
Warning. Hostiles detected.
party's taking heavy fire from the roof. They can't move until you get up there and take down that gunner.
We're pinned down! There's no way we'll make it across alive unless someone can get up there and take out the big guns!
All yours, Agent. Alpha Escort, we have an agent on the roof. Has Candle made it to your position?
Affirmative. Senior staff just arrived. As soon as the hostiles on the roof are gone, we'll get her across safely.
Warning. Additional hostiles incoming. Warning. Additional hostiles incoming.
Got the medics safely across. Candle and all staff accounted for. No casualties.
I'm not holding back for anyone.